Okay. All right. That's how we bounce back from a lackluster week 18, huh? Start the playoffs, a little 5-1 run. See if we can keep it up in the divisional round. We got picks for every game, all four of them. Some good ones at that. Sit down, buckle up, let's make it happen. Hey, Dave Loughy here on Twitter at Loughy_D. Hit your boy up if you haven't done so yet. And as always, help me feed the algorithm around these parts. Thumbs up, subscribe goes a long way. Appreciate you guys in advance for supporting this throughout the whole year, for real. And leave a comment down below. Try and read and respond to all of them. Where are you going this week? Got some tough games. Let's dive straight into them. First one we got to talk about, Texans at the Chiefs. Yeah, Texans really always do play the early Saturday game, huh? Just get them out of here first. I don't feel that way, but apparently the schedule makers do. Chiefs are laying 8 or 7.5, depending on where you look. 41.5 point total. You know, we thought the Chargers were overvalued last week as a 3-point road favorite. By we, I mean me. And also plenty of people in the comments as well. We were right. I never expected that type of beating, though, quite frankly. Stroud and the Texans offense, they played well, but that defense was suffocating, huh? I mean, you're talking about a guy in Justin Herbert who threw 3 interceptions in the regular season in 17 games. Let's say 16.5. He got hurt against Pittsburgh early on. 3. He threw 4 in the post. I mean, what a bad time to blow your load, huh? The most inopportune time possible. Justin Herbert rips off 4 interceptions. My God. You know, it's one of the worst performances we've seen in the postseason in a while. Certainly one of the worst performances we've ever seen out of Justin Herbert. But this defense for Houston's good, right? I mean, are they that good? Probably not. I'd say they've been overlooked this season, though, for sure. They have the talent to keep this game, let's say, competitive. At least enough to the point where the Texans don't get their doors blown off by halftime. Look, the Chiefs are an excellent football team. Hands down, we know that. And we know they just simply find ways to win. That's what if there's one thing we know about the Chiefs, it's not, they're going to win by 100. This game will never be competitive. It's, hey, are the Chiefs going to win? Probably. You know, that's the way it goes. But, you know, they haven't had an explosive offense at all this season. And maybe Hollywood Brown in his third appearance changes that. And I think maybe they take a couple shots downfield. But at the same time, this has been a methodical offense, right? That beats you up with that, not with big plays, but just surgical precision. They move the ball downfield, one play at a time, slowly, and they just grind up clock. They keep games lower scoring, and they usually prevent big blowouts as a result. I don't like Houston nearly as much as I did last week, especially playing in cold Kansas City. I would lean Houston +8 here. I haven't bet this spot, though, yet, because there's at the end of the video, I've got a way to play this game that I like even more. Same with the next one. I'll hit on it at the end of the video. Make sure to stick around for that one. Got something very specific for a couple of these games if we don't want to hit just the traditional side or the spread. I do like under 41.5 here, though. If you can get a higher number, take it. 41.5, the best I saw. Commanders at the Lions, -8.5. Lions favorite at home, 55.5 point total. Big total. This is the spot I got wrong last week. I'm not surprised either. The Commanders just keep defying the odds, at least in my opinion. I said I'm probably overlooking this Washington team and Jaden Daniels, and that was the case. Competitive game, don't get me wrong. It could have gone either way. But that's a tough win against a pretty good Tampa Bay team. It's just the way it is. I'll take the L on that. They'll get a rested Lions team in Detroit, though. I mean, this is tough. This is tough a spot as any team is going to draw, hands down. Detroit still has injuries, but they're getting healthier. There's just so much firepower here, so much ingenuity, creativity in this Ben Johnson-led offense. And defensively, they've essentially weathered every storm that's come their way. I know they've given up some big games, like the Niners put some points on them, obviously the Bills, but we saw what they did to Darnold last week. I don't know, maybe that's just more an indictment on Darnold than it is praise towards the Lions, but they've had a week off to get healthier, to rest up. I have a spot I like to bet here, like I said in the last game, so don't go anywhere. I'll give you a hint, though. It is a teaser that we're going to get to with 3 teams. I rarely ever do these, ever, but I really like this one. I like under 55.5 here a bit, too. I mean, that's a huge number, and unless Detroit's defense just totally falls apart and falters in this spot, I think it'll be tough to get there. Under 55, again, stick around. Rams at the Eagles. Eagles -5.5. Now, most of these have moved to 6. There's a 5.5 out there right now on FanDuel and on Bet365. If you're not on Bet365, do yourself a huge favor. If you're in any of those states you see on the screen, all right, use the link in the description or pinned comment to sign up. Take a second to instantly verify yourself, deposit $10 and bet 5 of it on whatever you want, whether it's this game or you want to do a massive parlay. Not that I'd recommend it. It doesn't matter. The moment that bet settles, whether you win or lose, you have $150 in bonus bets that you didn't have right now at the time of watching this video. So pause it, click, sign up, come back to it later, whatever it may be. Collect your $150 in bonus bets and take advantage of the other offers that they have going on throughout the postseason. We beat them up pretty good with those touchdown bonus bets. They got rid of them, as a matter of fact, with so many high-scoring games and us hitting those. I'm not taking credit for it, but it was pretty sweet. Anyway, check it out. Links down there. Bet365. Get $150 in bonus bets on a $5 bet. 21 years or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. But let's talk about the Eagles here at -5.5. The Rams are a solid football team. We know that. And they've got some great young talent on the D-line. They not came out of nowhere, but is definitely better than anticipated, without question. They can make life really difficult for opposing quarterbacks, especially when you don't have proper or adequate protection. Just ask Sam Darnold. 9 sacks. Oh, God, what a brutal game. I actually felt bad for him. All of us here, if you watched the video, we were on the Rams money line. So all in all, it was good. But you still, there's still a human side, right? There's still some type of sympathy. You see this guy just getting the piss beat out of him for 4 straight quarters and making some pretty bad decisions in the process. I don't know, though, man. The Eagles pass block extraordinarily well. We know that. One of the best in the league. This team could have had 4 Pro Bowlers just on the O-line. Seriously. They run the ball super effectively, as good as any team in the league. My guess is a lot of bets will actually come in on the Rams. I don't know if it'll be the sharp money. My guess, no. But people saw him demolish Minnesota on a primetime Monday night game, right? They saw the Eagles offense struggle against Green Bay. Blame it on Jalen Hurts. Blame it on the Eagles not being able to get separation at the wide receiver position, whatever it may be. They saw him struggle. But here's the thing. The Vikings they were a paper tiger. Isn't that fair to say at this point? I got a lot of Vikings fans, so I feel for you guys. But I mean, I think many would look back. Vikings fans after the fact are usually like, yeah, it's true. They got a lot of weapons. They got a lot of pieces. They got great coaching. But Darnold, we saw it last week in Detroit, truthfully. We'd seen glimpses of that all season. Remember that Jacksonville game? They won like 12-7. Remember that? He threw 3 interceptions in the end zone, all of them on passes to Jefferson. We saw glimpses. But last night, the pot finally boiled over now, didn't it? I don't know. Saquon Barkley rushed for 255 yards against the Rams earlier in the year. Not saying it's going to happen again, right? But even if you look at a Philly team where the receivers didn't get a lot of separation against Green Bay, like they still have a dominant duo at the position with another skilled tight end who got healthy in Dallas Goedert. 6 stiff arm last week, too, en route to that touchdown. And yes, on the other side, of course, you have Verse and you've got some good defensive players. That defense has absolutely tightened things up lately. They've shored up a lot of the issues they had earlier in the year. Puka Nacua is a stud. Kyron Williams is solid. But Cooper Kupp's fallen off the cliff. And, it was a disappointing performance offensively for the Eagles, but they still won by double digits. They still smothered that Packers offense, even with the fact that they lost Nakobe Dean early in that game. Not to mention knocking several Packers players out of that game with their physical play, just taking shoulders straight out of the sockets. I don't know. I still have to go Eagles in this spot, even without Nakobe Dean on defense. Give me that 5.5 before everything moves to a blanket 6 across the board. All right. And the game of the week, it's got to be, right? Maybe not. Would it shock you if one of these other games just becomes like shockingly good? It happens. The wild card games sucked. They were good for us because we were winning bets. But, man, if you're not a betting man, that TV might go off. Good thing we bet. But this is an awesome game. Ravens -1.5 or -1, depending on where you're looking, at the Bills, 51.5 point total. Before we get to the game, you guys have heard me talk about PortfolioEV a lot. Why? Well, because it's our tool, but also because it's won me a lot of money. These are my December results. Just from using my phone to get up, 100 bets a day takes me 20 minutes tops. No joke, 20 minutes. Use the mass entry tool. It loads every single bet into my bet slip. I'm mentioning this because we just added a free trial. We've been trying to do this for a while now. The logistics didn't work. We've got it. Free week trial. For any of you guys who have heard about it, who have seen all of the tweets on there, who have seen all of the people from, be it on our DFS side or me or Greg or anyone else having amazing success with this tool, without having to know anything about the sports you're betting, like NBA, NHL, WNBA, you name it, college football. Free trial. Link in the description and in chat. Your first week is 100% free. Just do me a favor. If you're going to try it out, do a couple things for me. Make sure that you're on as many sports books as possible, because that's how, with the market-based approach where we're picking off all the bad odds by getting the true odds in the market, you want as many books as possible to cover everything. Number 2, make sure you're getting as many bets down as you possibly can. And number 3, understand variance happens. If you have 1 or 2 bad days, stick with it throughout the week, because you will see results. And it's a free week. You can jump in, check it out. Let me know what you think. My DMs are always open. The comments are open down here. Happy to answer any of your questions, any of you ever have, because it works for me. It can work for you as well. And there's 10 minutes total of tutorials. Watch all of them. You'll be well on your way. Links down there if you want to check it out. First week entirely free. Let's get to the best game of the week. This is as close as it gets. 2 elite football teams in the AFC they're closing out the divisional round on Sunday night. What more could we ask for? Neither the Ravens or the Bills were really pressed in any way last week. Both coasted to victory. But this is a heavyweight bout between 2 teams desperate to finally break through in a conference that's been essentially gate-kept by the Chiefs for 4 of the last 5 years, half a decade. And before that, it was Tom Brady and the Patriots. Think about this. It really sucks if you consider like really good teams struggling to get there. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, Allen and the Bills, Lamar and the Ravens. There's more parity in the NFC, and there has been for a while. Over the last decade, the last 10 years, 7 different NFC teams have been to the Super Bowl. The Eagles, Niners, and the Rams got there twice. But other than that, 7 other teams. In the AFC over the last decade, 2 teams have made 8 of those Super Bowl appearances, 8 of those 10. It's nuts. Look, I think this is the year where the Chiefs could get knocked off. Probably not this week. And in all likelihood, it's one of these 2 teams facing them next week at Arrowhead. I'd lean Bills here, but I want to do something I generally never do. I told you to stick around. This is why. I wasn't bullshitting you or trying to clickbait anything. I think I'm going to, actually, I already did. Tease the dog. Tease the dog up. On FanDuel right now, the Chiefs are -7.5. This works perfectly on FanDuel because they're not at 8. This wouldn't matter as much, as a matter of fact, but it still helps. They're at 7.5. The Lions are at 8.5, and the Bills are at 1.5. So what does that mean? Well, if we were to tease this to 6 points, you get the Chiefs at -1.5. You get the Lions at -2.5 inside of a field goal, and we get the Bills to +7.5 outside of the touchdowns. Outside of a touchdown, these teams are just so insanely evenly matched. The Bills and the Ravens, both teams. I mean, you gotta get this win. That, I'd lean Bills, but give me Bills +7.5. Let me tease this with 2 other favorites that I can get inside of a field goal. I mean, why not? If I can tease the Bills outside of 7 in this spot, let me have it. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out as always. We will catch you back here for the championship round next week. Until then, have a great rest of the week, great weekend. Let's go win some money. Peace.